Hello, this is Scott Conway, PhD, JD, with MothersRaisingSons.com and with the 40 or 50 long boxes of comic books as our representation of the San Diego Comic Convention, which recently took place here in San Diego, California. The biggest, the busiest, the most overwhelming pop culture celebration that takes place in the United States of America. We're talking today about finding things to listen to and finding things to talk about. Using the San Diego Comic Convention as an example, the San Diego Comic Convention has a sales hall that is just absolutely massive. This thing is huge. There's vendors, there's artists, there's tons of stuff going on there. There's events going on in hall after hall after hall, the big ones in the big halls, and tons of things going on in like every single room in the comic convention, spilling over to other nearby things. So finding something that both of you can talk about should theoretically be pretty easy. But the simplest thing to do when you have an event like this going on, even if it's all completely alien to you, is just to find things to listen to. Enjoy the fact that your kid is excited about something. So our son comes home. He's excited about meeting somebody and seeing someone and getting a picture with it. We have no idea who this person is. But he does, and that's the point. And he's excited about it, and that's the point. Now, finding something to listen to, just let your child be the expert. Let your child teach you about this thing. That alone can be a massive place of connection, because from time to time when you kind of turn the tables and your child is the expert, even if it's your child being the expert on a television program, your child being the expert on a movie, or your child being an expert on this comic book character, that when your child gets to be the expert and they get to see that you listen, that when they're talking about something, when you're learning something from them, you're paying attention. That can be then enormously powerful when you need them to be listening to you, when you're sharing with them. And so you let them be the expert and you listen and you pay close attention. With this basic idea, if it's important to you, it's important to me, because you are important to me. And so when you're listening to your child about anything that's exciting to them, even if it's completely distasteful to you, if your kid likes the zombie stuff and you hate the zombie stuff, you listen because it's your child and they're excited about it. Now, one of the beautiful things about this internet age is if you're listening and you're thinking, okay, I really don't get it, you can go look stuff up. You can go, search for it online, find a little bit more information about it so you can understand it a little bit better to see what is this thing that my kid's so excited about. They were telling me in their vocabulary, maybe they were kind of assuming you got a lot of this, and you were listening, you were being polite, maybe, for instance, on the zombie thing. You're going, okay, they're talking about the zombie apocalypse. That sounds like it's a thing, but I don't know what that means. And so just later on, you just go look it up. So you can ask about it, but sometimes they kind of assume that you know some of these things. And so then you can go look it up later. Which also then connects to the next technique, finding things to talk about. Now, sometimes at an event like the San Diego Comic Convention, it's so big and so overwhelming that you don't even know where to start. Well, if you can look up and find out what's going on there, what are some of the highlights? And typically the local news will cover these things, and you can kind of find out some of what's going on. It's like, oh, I heard at the comic convention that there was something going on about like some big superhero movie with Superman and Batman. Do you know anything about that? And so it's finding something to start a conversation. Now, you may know a little bit because you looked up the article, and maybe you Googled a couple of things, and so you know a little bit about it. But rather than just share with your kid what you know, you're going to use it as a place to talk about something, to allow the conversation to go on, where you initiate the chat, but you let your kid kind of lead the way. And so you kind of find this common ground, this place to connect. Anytime you're dealing with any kind of major event, always look for something where you can listen to your child. Always look for something where your child can be the expert, and of course, pay close attention. And something you may want to do, and this is kind of an extra technique you can do sometimes depending how your memory works, is go take some notes. Go write some stuff down after the conversation. If you realize, okay, this thing, whatever it is really, really important to my kid. And it's so different from what I do that, it's a little hard for me to kind of keep track of this stuff. So I'm going to go do maybe a little bit of extra research. I'm going to write some stuff down so I can remember this so that I can come back and ask about it some other time. So drop it in your journal, drop it in a diary, just take a note, maybe stick it somewhere in your calendar to ask about something. So say part of it was your kid was talking about a particular movie and it's coming out, sometime in December. Maybe remember to go stick something in your calendar that, sometime after, November, around, before Thanksgiving, remember to ask my child, like, wasn't there this movie coming out that you were really interested in? It was coming out for Christmas. It was, but you know what it was because you had it in your calendar to bring it up. And just these little extra things you do can really help you connect with your kid, even on things that may not make a lot of sense to you. So find something to listen to, find something to talk about, take advantage of your journal, your diary, and your calendar to be able to have these touch points so you can keep connecting with your kid and build the relationship so when you need to do some of the hard parenting stuff and it's going to create conflict, that you have enough of a relationship with your child so that maybe your child will listen to you and that you can do the job of the parent more effectively because your child actually likes you. This is Scott Conway for mothersraisingsons.com talking about connecting with our kids, in particular connecting with our teenage kids.